was Shakura's Plateau. Oh.
Ew.
I didn't need to turn the sound off there at all, but I did by mistake. All right. Game number 2 in this best-of-5 finals. Kicking off, spawning in the top right corner of the map. It's going to be the Red Terran player, Gumiho.
The bottom left, Oz, the Teal Terran. It's Roots Supernova.
I'm almost positive someone here goes with the Reaper opening, but who do you think goes for it first?
I say no one does.
Oh, you're going to be that bold.
Whoa. Whoa.
I only go for this because it might not be cheesy locations, and it might not be like you go directly across the map horizontal, but there's still a lot of ways for Reapers to get into this base, and I think what shuts down Reapers more than anything else isn't great control. It's just being predictable, knowing exactly where they're going to come from. You know, think back to the days of Habitation Station. There was only one way the Reaper could go.
Yeah. I agree. There's a couple different ways to get into the Reapers in the main. There's a lot of space in the main to like run around, not just get stuck behind the mineral line or something like that.
Perfect for Foxy Marauders. I'm just
saying. And, Reaper is a good opening in general. So it is really quite a bold, kind of funny thing that I say that you're not going to go Reapers. No way. No how.
Well, the slightly earlier gas for Supernova. We'll see if that actually does end up being Reapers on it. For the exact same reasons I list that there could be Reapers, the exact same reasons there might not be, though, because it is one of those things that's so predictable that
it's true.
You kind of like metagame it out a little bit.
If you go for like double Reaper into Reactor, but your opponent went for double Rax Reaper, you're going to be in trouble. So, do you want to do that, or you just want to play like a normal Marine, Hellion, a quick factory game? They might be going both go up to quick factory. So called it. Got it.
Nailed it. Nail on the head, Zamago. Well, I brought this up because Supernova's been doing, it's granted versus Zerg, not versus Terran earlier, but like Reaper openings into the tank drops, into like other weird things. I mean, Shakura's Plateau is a very interesting map, and with it being loser's pick and his selection, I figured he just had something sneaky up his sleeve. Although we can't rule that out just yet, as you could still probably, maybe not as easy as versus Zerg, but you could still probably abuse some terrain on this map if you really, really wanted to.
Yeah. On the point of the Reapers, however, I do want to note that one of them could get a Reaper later, just a little bit later on. They both have not scouted each other with an SCV. They don't know where each other are, technically. If we're right on the whole, there is horizontal spawns. So one Reaper has actually saved specifically Gumiho in the past. I remember it was actually him that got the Reaper, which told him that there was Banshee versus Banshee, and he was the one that got the Raven. And the other player got a second Banshee and ended up dying to Gumiho's like one Banshee. It was a super important scout. And that could still happen. And it would be quite important, as it does look like both players are going to go up to a Banshee. Maybe that's Supernova. Supernova hasn't gotten a second gas. Okay, Hellions.
So I guess going for the 1-1-1. I mean, classic tried and true, and it's won games, but it is a scenario where if Gumiho's got that Banshee coming out of home, and with the map being the way it is, it's actually not going to be too hard for him to turn it around to defend if this does get out of hand.
Yeah. I think Supernova's just going to go for... I mean, do you think it's going to be a drop? We don't usually see Hellion drops that often. It's always like Marine Hellion drops. And he is still producing Marines. Okay, it's going to be Marine Hellion drop. Alright. Very good then. This could be really dangerous. Gumiho did not wall off his main.
Yeah, usually those 3 depots are so commonplace. Especially in TVT, you just kind of get to that assumption where I don't want to die to 1-1-1, but Supernova didn't do it either, so it could... Hellions for either player could be quite deadly, but... Taking a tango in the middle of the map, Supernova's going to sandwich him in. Double team.
Run. Yeah. This could have also been Gumiho's scout had it been allowed to go over to Supernova's base. Could have maybe gotten up there and seen something, but...
Actually, yeah, he's seen nothing so far, and quite frankly, with this apparently being able to be horizontal spawns, doesn't even necessarily know where Supernova spawned at.
Yeah, neither is Supernova, though. So I really am questioning this whole, there is horizontal. I know it's on a ladder, but I don't know what map.
Maybe it's not in, tournament play or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, I've still never seen this horizontal spawns, but I've heard so many stories about it being horizontal spawns. Anyways, Hellions going to lift up here to the main, unload. Good elevator with a lot of Marines. Going to have a lot of damage for this push and obviously be able to deal with a Banshee. Cloak's not quite done yet, and, well, if he can win the Hellion War fast enough, he'll dive into that mineral line. He'll kill some SCVs, but... This isn't going so well for Supernova.
Yeah. Not as well as it might have. It looked like Gumiho was predicting this was the build. Maybe seeing 2 Hellions out on the map was just enough to tell him it was that build. And maybe it was. maybe if it was a reactor, there would have been 4 Hellions. Maybe if it was a Banshee, there would be no Hellions, or 1 Hellion. I don't know. But Gumiho wasn't exactly like economically good either. So while Supernova attack didn't do anything, he's getting a faster CC.
We'll see if he can sail off the back end of this, though. I mean, for his sake, what I assumed was going to be Mech still very well may be. Well, we'll see. It might be Bio with later Banshees, perhaps. The Engineer base I thought was just strictly for turrets because you saw the Banshee. But anyways, whether he plays Mech or whether he plays Bio, I mean, we had such a good game 1. I can't imagine game 2 is going to let us down, you know?
Hopefully. I mean, they both are kind of like letting each other get up to that second base. We'll see if it goes up to 3 bases. Oh, this is Gumiho's Banshee. Forgot that he made one. It's going to die. Just barely. Thank you, missile turret.
Yeah, the timing on that couldn't have been better, but SCV building command center did die, so that earlier command center is now more like the same command center.
Basically, yeah. It's pretty perfect now. They are both going for Banshees. Call Supernova as a counter Banshee, I suppose, and you won't have clue quite yet, but it's possible that Gumiho just won't expect it. He won't have Vikings. I mean, usually it's like 2 Banshees into a Viking. Oh, he does have a Viking. I always miss this.
Suspects the late Banshee.
That's true. Absolutely true. Does this Raven have a point defense drone?
Nope.
No.
It's got some auto turrets, though, which are always a little bit annoying to deal with. Auto turrets always have, I'll call it surprising damage. Not great damage, but you're like, oh, that killed something it shouldn't have, so that's cool.
Gumiho is up 2 SCVs, but he's up 9 army supply. Did not realize this.
But the Banshee at home should hold. There's not a lot of anti-air here, so this attack is really
Viking
scary.
and Raven got past all the Vikings of Supernova somehow. So
I was focusing the Hellions. Like, why not take out that tank? That's got to be like the priority target, right? Are the 2 Vikings going to respond to this now? Auto turrets are going to come down as predicted.
I like the auto turrets a lot.
Yeah.
Now, he's still not going to have vision when the Raven dies, so he still will need to burn a scan to get on any more Banshees, but that was a cool move.
I don't know if Supernova is such a bad spot, though. I mean, all the focus is going here on top of like a barracks. Like, whoa!
Hey, man, he needs that to build, factories.
This attack's not going so well either. I thought with 3 Hellions he was going to kill a lot more SCVs, but Banshee falls, and now Supernova's actually in quite a bit of trouble. Second Banshee does pop out. He's going to push this back and try and rebuild it. But even with the scan coming down, he's just got to keep this Banshee alive. He's got to deal. It's the only way he can deal with that tank. Actually, he can pull the SCVs at this point, I think.
This is getting too much. This is getting on top of his SCV line. There's only 1 Banshee, so at this point, damage will be done in, fast enough manner. Like, they're both taking damage from each other, though. The counterattack still going down. The Hellions had to be surrounded. You thought they weren't going to do that much damage, but apparently they did. 5 seconds later, they did a lot of damage.
But I mean, like, let's assess for a minute. Like, what did Supernova really lose from this? Okay, so they lose similar worker counts. Maybe Supernova's a little bit more. But I mean, he lost the barracks. I mean, this was an attack that I thought was going to be game-ending rather than just poking, so to speak.
It is. I feel like it's going to be very similar to that last game. Is Supernova allowed to macro up, get tanks, no problem. Like, this deficit can be, made up with good tank positioning. But if it's going to be as scrappy as last game and Gumi's going to play as smart, I think Gumiho's just going to win in the long game. We shall see.
He's definitely ahead, I'd say, in this situation.
Sure,
no
definitely.
Question.
Definitely. We can see in the numbers. Ahead in army and ahead in workers.
Well, not only that, but Supernova has to rebuild the barracks if he can actually build anything he wants to build. So he is, really behind in production.
He has to decide between, Hellions or tanks right now from that one factory. It's only one, so he decides on tanks.
I don't think it's even a question. You need a tank, at least one. If you had more Banshees out, then maybe you could argue otherwise. But Gumiho's pushing yet again, and he's got air control.
But then there's no buffer, right? Like, you do want both, and you have neither. So Supernova just, I think at this point, go Bio. He starts a +1. He starts more barracks. But Gumiho's had barracks push this entire time. They both went into Marine tank. This looks like this is the game-ending push for Gumiho.
Yeah, game gonna end right there, but yeah. If this was the best of 3, if this was your average game of StarCraft 2, this would all be over. But it's not. It's the finals. So we got one.